In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the API Inspector. This is a tool that you might find useful when you're developing your own applications that use the FirstClass API. You should make sure that you also watch the remaining videos in this series so that you'll get a full appreciation of what this tool can do for you. The tool is actually two-in-one. When I open this index file in my browser, it loads the API DevDocs tool as an iframe in the top portion of the screen. You can see this in the index.html code for this page. What API DevDocs does is provide you with the query string parameters that you will add to your server URL to query the API. These are all listed in the documentation as we saw in an earlier video, but have been categorized here for easy access. As we explore the API Inspector more in the next video, you'll see how we can use this tool. The remainder of the index.html file just displays a login form, a results area, and a currently hidden div that contains a field where, after login, we can enter our query string that will be submitted to the API. Looking at the inspector.js file now, let's walk through the API Inspector to see how it works. In our inspector.js JavaScript file, we have to specify our server address and default port, and this is used to form the server address that will get concatenated with our query string. Remember from an earlier video that you point to the FirstClass Web Services machine, and it must have a default server entry set up in its config file. The remaining global variables will be explained as we continue on our walkthrough. When I enter the user's credentials and log into the server, we see that the results field is replaced with content and the query field is revealed. Let's take a look at our code to see what is happening. When we clicked on the login button, the login/logoff function is called. Currently, our global gbloggedin variable is false, so we capture the user ID and password from the form fields. The user ID is converted to uppercase, and both the user ID and the password use the included library functions to create a base64 encoded SHA-512 digest password. The jslibs.js file contains the crypto.js and base64 functions used for this, and also includes many other useful functions that we'll see in a later video. The query string parameter is then formed, and an AJAX call is made to the API. Upon successful completion, the results are stored in a global variable called fcdata, and the returned JSON data is converted to a string and displayed in the results window. At the same time, the API generates a series of 10 V keys, one of which must be used whenever we send a request to log off or modify or create content on the server. We store these in the global V keys array. Our login form now is hidden, and a new query field is displayed, and the login button text is turned to logoff. Now, when we click on this button again, the login/logoff function is called again, but this time a different query string is used, as the gbloggedin is now true. cur_vkey is a random number between 0 and 9, so we use this to randomly select one of the V keys from our V key array. This is then used to form the logoff query string that is submitted to the server as an AJAX call once again. The results once more are displayed in our display space. The login form again is presented. In the next video, we'll take a look at how we can retrieve and update information on our server using the API.